Hello again, this is Jack, coming back to read Chapter 2 now of the SweetieMash Chronicles. I know it's been a little bit of time, but I have resolved to actually wait for Scroll to actually be available, as I much more enjoy doing this with him actually here, so that's worth it to me. And so yes, Scroll is here, but apparently not talkative.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Alright, so this is going to be Chapter 2, called Rejection. I wonder what it'll be about. Alright, so let's get into this. I will do the zoom in. Whoa, what? Holy crap. I'm zooming in far greater increments than I was prepared for. The SweetieMash Chronicles, Chapter 2, Rejection. Ooh. Alright. Sweetie Belle gave an exasperated sigh as she trudged out of the schoolhouse. So, Sweetie Belle, Scootaloo called out. Hey, Sweetie Belle! Sweetie Belle continued to march away from the school, attempting to ignore her friend. Scootaloo, Applebloom said, attempting to interrupt. You've tasted enough, she insisted. Sweetie Belle, Sweetie Belle, Sweetie Belle, Sweetie Belle! What? Sweetie Belle shrieked, turning to face her friend with an angry expression plastered on her face. Scootaloo grinned wide. You going to see Button Mash today? Huh? Are ya? No, Sweetie Belle responded in a piercing tone. Are you sure? Scootaloo cooed. Doesn't feel like a Scootaloo way of doing things, but then again, it's already been established in the first chapter that things are remixed here. Scootaloo, you've been joshing her all day, Applebloom protested. Ease up. What? Scootaloo responded playfully. I just want to know if she's going to go get her mad smooches on with Button Mash, she added with a huge grin. I'm not going to smooch Button Mash. Okay, geez, Scootaloo replied, holding her forehooves up defensively in front of her. I was just messing, apparently all frickin' day. What's next? You know, hang out with the Diamond Tiara and Silver Moon, pre-season 6. Alright. But you've been messing with her since this morning, Applebloom countered. Yeah, well, Scootaloo paused briefly. She's fun to tease, she declared. Oh yeah, you definitely need to go hang out with Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. Sweetie Belle began to growl in frustration. Scootaloo, Applebloom began in a warning tone. I mean... I think you meant I mean? I mean, unless Scootaloo was just being really honest here, but I don't think that was what was intended. But I'm going to read it the way that it's written. I mean, I don't really care if she wants to be all like Scootaloo stared up towards the sky and placed a forehoof to her forehead. Oh, Button Mash, she said dramatically. I love your dorky hat. Kiss me, you fool. I don't know why I went with that accent. Scootaloo wrapped her arms around open air and began smacking her lips together. Mwah, mwah. Holy crap. Why don't you just punch your fucking lights out, sweetie? I am not going to kiss him. I don't even like him, Sweetie Belle screeched. She began to huff and to puff. Her face red, her eyes focused to lasers pointing at Scootaloo. Sorry, Scootaloo offered meekly. Hey, Sweetie Belle. Applebloom and Scootaloo winced as the sound of an excited colt calling for Sweetie Belle rang out. The two turned, facing Button Mash as Sweetie Belle focused on her rageful... Oh, I got that wrong. Focused her rageful expression on him. Button trotted up to the trio of fillies. Hi, Sweetie Belle, Button Mash said cheerfully as he closed the distance between himself and the white unicorn. Sweetie Belle growled out in response. Hey, Button continued, oblivious to Sweetie's body language. Mom says we can have you over for dinner tonight. Isn't that cool? Applebloom's and Scootaloo's expressions turned downright, it should be one word for downright, but downright panicky, and they began to wave their forehooves in the air while mouthing the words no and stop to Button Mash. So I picked out a bunch of my favorite video games we could play. Button continued, his lips pulling up into an increasing larger grin. I think you meant increasingly larger or increasingly large. Grin. It's going to be awesome. I got Foley Fantasy 1 through 6, Super Mustang Brothers, Battle Foals, Twin dragons. I hear that Battlefalls has an incredible difficulty spike. Or learning curve, if you like. No. Button paused. Huh? I said no. Disappointment began to write an epic trilogy across Button's face. Okay. Not a story in one part, but in three. Oh. But Button replied meekly. Maybe some other time? He asked hopefully. No, Sweetie Belle shrieked. But... Button stammered as he began to tear up. What did I do? What I do? What I do? I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be what did I do, but it reads about the same, if you read it smoothly enough. Did I do something wrong? He placed his forehooves on Sweetie Belle's shoulders. Please, tell me what I did and I'll fix it, he pleaded. I promise, he added, his water begun, I think began to stream out of his eyes would be proper. Get off of me, Sweetie Belle cried shrilly as she swatted the colt's hooves off her body. I hope I never see you ever again. Damn. Button's lip began to quiver, and he tried to choke back sobs as his body began to shake. Sweetie Belle turned and fled from the group, sprinting fast and far down Ponyville's path, away from the school. I guess that's supposed to be kind of whining leading into bawling, so like kind of stuff. Sweetie Belle, Button-Mash cried out, quickly following it up with a chorus of tortured wails and sobs that caused the young colt to quake and tremble. Scootaloo's and Applemoon's eyes went wide as they stared at each other. That's on me, I read it wrong. This is bad, Scootaloo mused. Real bad, Applebloom agreed.
Hold on. That part right there I thought was actually the saddest part of the entire story.
That for early on, huh? Okay. I mean, it is sad. It's.
He didn't do anything. It was because the Scootaloo was teasing just before this.
Yeah, exactly. So really,
He came
huh?
so hopeful and happy, and then that reaction just destroyed him. And he doesn't know why it happened.
No, he's completely left in the dark, and Scootaloo is unlikely to apparently own up to this. I'm just saying it doesn't seem likely because of the way that she has been behaving here, which has crossed the line from just a teasing friend to kind of going into bullying mode. Not completely cruel, but well past the point of Sweetie asking and then demanding and then practically threatening her to stop. So,
I had the same reaction.
But she makes I guess, a pretty good foil for the purpose of this story. As I said, it doesn't fully feel like it fits Scootaloo, since in the run of the show, it shows that she doesn't actually have as much self-confidence as it might first appear. But
that's a foil, not because she's interested in Button, so we can scratch that out.
So, okay, so there's that. So yeah, but as I said, I'm actually quite enjoying the take on the characters and just the way that they're being written here. Nothing so far is requiring me to suspense disbelief to any terrible degree. When it gets to that, I start getting annoyed, but this so far isn't doing that. So, Button's mom pushed open the door to Carousel Boutique, a bell above the door ringing as she entered carrying her saddlebags. She tentatively strutted into the brightly lit, pink interior of the store and glanced at the racks and racks of green-encrusted dresses and mannequins. Most people would call them ponnikins, but we know what you mean. Sporting a myriad of different clothing and looks.
Looks like the writer still couldn't decide what her name is.
Oh, we haven't gotten the name. That's right, Button's mom. Hello, she called out into the shop. That happens. I'm not really that great at coming up with names myself, so it sometimes takes me a while. I will then rely very heavily on descriptions, pretty much into Lavender Unicorn Syndrome, but I at least try to prevent it from being...
Unless she was born Button's mom.
I mean, that's like her name. Wow, that is really closed destiny. All right. Just a second, dearie. A voice rang out from from a back room. A white female unicorn trotted into view, her purple curled mane and tail bouncing up and down with each step. She smiled warmly at Button's mom as she looked over her with red-rimmed magnifying glasses. Hello, and welcome to Rarity's Carousel Boutique, the man said. I'm Rarity, the couturier, clavier, and seamstress of everything in the shop. Just give me a moment here. I've rarely run into a word I'm not completely confident on how to pronounce, but this here's one of them. And it might be that I'm not even sure it's a real word, but I'm about to find out.
She actually used it not often, though.
A person who did... Okay, give me this.
Couturier.
Oh, I got it way wrong. I'm Rarity, the couturier, clavier, and seamstress of everything in the shop. You left out her favorite one, though. Fashionista. Rarity smiled wide. Are you looking for anything in particular, or did you just have the sudden urge to step inside and see what suits your fancy? Rarity teetered. Sorry, dear. Fashion joke. Couldn't resist. Okay. It certainly is a Pinky-approved pun, I'm sure. Button's mom smiled back at the friendly fashion designer. Actually, I was told I could find Sweetie Belle's guardian here. Rarity's face immediately shifted from optimistic joy to the very picture of dread. Oh no, what did her friends do? No, excuse me. What did her friends and her do this time? Oh, please be merciful with her. Rarity pleaded. She's just a young filly, she asserted dramatically. She doesn't know what she's doing. You're really laying it on thick right from the outset there, Rarity.
I do recall her being a drama queen in the early seasons.
Yeah, that is true. Not even just the earlier seasons. There have been points all throughout the series where that was played for excellent laughs. Rarity wailed out as she lowered herself to her knees and placed her forehooves together in front of her face, shaking them up and down.
As far as they appeared, though, they do have their parents in Ponyville, unless they're out on vacation.
Who?
Sweetie and Rarity, actually. Their parents are in town. So I would have considered them the official guardian, and he just visits Rarity a lot.
I know, but there were like a grand total of, 1 or 2 episodes in 9 seasons? I hardly consider them to be present parents,
I think 3 episodes?
Okay, that's a marginal improvement at best. That still doesn't really qualify them as actually involved parents.
And of all of them, I think they spoke once. The first appearance.
Not Sister Hooves. Or was it Sister Hooves? Damn.
That was the episode they appeared in. I think he even first appeared in and spoke in.
Sister Hooves Social. Okay. Rarity wailed out as she lowered herself to her knees and placed her forehooves together in front of her face, shaking them up and down. Button's mom stared blankly at the scene in front of her. Actually, Sweetie Belle met up with my son yesterday, and I was hoping to invite her over for dinner tonight. Rarity's eyes shot open and her face burned crimson. Oh, she rose to her hooves. Right. Silly me. I went to think if you had not launched into your theatrics, you might well have heard that before the embarrassing stuff happened. Button's mom smirked as she cocked an eye open. So, Sweetie Belle is a bit of a troublemaker, is she? Rarity grinned, rolling her eyes. Oh, you simply have no idea. Button's mom chuckled. I understand. My little Button can be quite the hooful at times, too. So I guess you must be Sweetie Belle's mother, then. Rarity gritted her teeth hard as her left eye began to twitch and her pupils shrank to pinpricks. Sister! She hissed out between clenched teeth. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to... Rarity's glasses began to glow with a faint blue aura. Oh, her magic blue aura. The glasses practically flew off Rarity's face as she stomped closer to Button's mother. So, dinner, Rarity began, lacing her words with deadly venom. I see. She's reacting to being called Sweetie's mother. I don't know why that did not click until just this moment, but there you have it.
I think she's complaining about being thought about at that old.
Yep, probably so. Button's mother began to back up, glancing frantically around the boutique. Well, I'm terribly sorry, but our parents are out on vacation, and I don't think I could clear... How much for that? Button's mother asked, pointing towards a lace-black and red piece of intimate apparel draped over a mannequin. Rarity paused and looked over the item, glanced back at the light tan mirror, and uttered out an amount. An amount, you see. Does Button's mom go for an amount? We'll see. Button's mom smiled and sat on her haunches, allowing her saddlebag to slide to the ground. She spun her body and placed her forehoofs into one of the bags, fishing out a hefty sack of bits. I'll take it. Rarity blinked a few times and levitated the bag over to her, glancing inside. Of course. Let me just get your change, she said as a handful of bits levitated out of the bag. Oh, that won't be necessary, Button's mom responded. But Rarity began to protest. Button's mom smiled warmly at the unicorn. It's such an expertly crafted item. I couldn't possibly let the beautiful young mare that made it go without knowing how much her work is appreciated.
I think I would have put that word young in italic here. After what happened earlier.
That's a good point. That emphasis would be called for. I could see Button's mom going for that, but this works well enough too. Rarity's eyes shot open as her pupils turned to sparkly pools that shimmered in the light. Oh, of course. I'm sorry, but I never caught your name. It's... You tease. I think you're right. Hasn't properly thought of the name. But again, I'm terrible with those myself. Particularly pony names. Those are much, much more challenging for me.
You're the one that tipped me off to a certain program that can randomly generate it.
Sure, and it's certainly an effective tool, but there's only so much that's going to come out of that before you start to get redundancy. You got to really learn to get creative in your own right.
Rolled up plenty of times before you came up with the name Blackjack.
Probably.
For one of our characters.
Yeah. Sweetie Belle threw open the door to Carousel Boutiques. Boutiques? Okay. And sprinted inside, stopping when she was in to catch her breath. A nerve of some ponies. Oh, wait, let me. Is this it? No, it's this one. The nerve of some ponies inviting me to dinner. Of all things, I mean, where does he even get off? Jeez. Maybe I didn't need to yell at him like that. So, Sweetie Belle looked around the room full of dresses. The store, notable, I think you meant notably, absent of any pony. Rarity, she called out. In here, Sweetie Belle, her sister responded. Sweetie Belle trotted towards the living area of the boutique, the sound of cheerful laughter drifting out as she did. Hey, Rarity, Sweetie Belle stopped dead in her tracks, and her blood ran cold as she laid eyes upon the lightly tanned mare that sat across from Rarity. She stared at Button's mom with eyes full of fear. Oh, boy. I'm done for. Sweetie Belle, come in here and say hello to... Hi, Mrs. Button-Mash's mom, Sweetie Belle said, interrupting her sister. Just so we can't learn the name. Button's mom smiled and nodded at the young filly. Hello again, Sweetie Belle. How was... Great! School. Button's mom shot a quick, confused glance at Rarity, which was mirrored by the white unicorn. So, did you see Button Mash today? Button's mom continued. Sweetie Belle began to swipe bullets. Nope, she replied. Oh, that's strange. He said he'd talk to... I need to go upstairs, Sweetie Belle declared. For reasons, she added, bolting out of the room and sprinting up the stairs of the boutique. I'll just go and see what's troubling her, Rarity said. Sure, Button's mom replied with a concerned expression on her face. Rarity rapped lightly on Sweetie Belle's door with a forehoof. Sweetie Belle, darling, can I come in? Go away. Sweetie Belle, I only want to talk. Fine. Okay. Rarity opened the door with her magic and trotted into the bedroom, a beige-colored room with lots of hearts and curved lines painted on the walls, where Sweetie Belle laid on top of her pink bedspread, her face buried in a pillow. Why, whatever is the matter, dear? Rarity asked as a blue aura gently closed the door behind her. I don't want to go to Button's house. Rarity trotted over to the bed. Why ever not? Sweetie Belle paused. He's weird. Rarity's expression turned stern. Sweetie Belle, I'm surprised with you. I think that would normally be at you. But I don't know. With tone, it works just fine. Just because somebody is different is no reason not to want to be their friend. There's got to be a space added between is and no.
No, I believe there originally was, but this program sometimes erases it whenever anything is in bold italic.
Okay. Sweetie Belle looked up from her pillow. He's the cult with that weird spinning hat. It was Rarity's turn to look. Oh, well, that's still no reason to. No, Sweetie Belle replied. Sweetie Belle, you really should reconsider. I said no, Sweetie Belle shrieked out. Rarity nervously glanced at the closed door to the room. Look, dearie, I don't want to guilt you into anything, but what, Rarity? Sweetie Belle replied in a shrill tone as she glared at her sister. I could picture all the right notes or points where Sweetie's voice does that thing where it cracks.
Yep.
It's just that, well, I was talking to Button's mom, and she mentioned that she doesn't have any friends. Oh, I'm sorry. He doesn't have any friends. Sweetie Belle's eyes shot open. What? No friends? Like, none at all? Well, if every other pony is treating him as dismally as you are, I expect that he doesn't. Anyway, Rarity nodded. In fact, until yesterday, no pony outside his family had even spoken more than a few sentences to him. Sweetie Belle felt a tightness in her chest, as if her heart began to violently lash out at its surroundings. No friends? He must be so lonely. Sweetie Belle began to tear up slightly. Just like I was before I met Scootaloo. Oh, my Celestia, what have I done? Rarity looked over at her sister quizzically. So, as I was without warning, Sweetie Belle shot up at her bed, jumped off it, and hit the ground on all fours. Her horn and door glowed green as the door flew open. She sprinted out the door, down the hall, down the steps, and out of the boutique without another word.
I just put a note though. I actually don't recall Sweetie using her magic ever until season 4, when she started to get trained in it by Twilight.
Yeah.
In Twilight time.
Right, and she didn't get very good at it until some point near or
I,
after she got her cutie mark.
There's one exception though. There was a time that her magic was doing something, but it was during. Oh man! Again, season 4 actually. In episode, I think maybe 1, where some plants has infected her magic with a curse, and it was doing things on its own, independently, doing mysterious things. That was possibly the first time we saw her magic even be used at all.
And it was terrifying. That was season 4, episode 1, titled Twilight's Kingdom Part 1. Yes, I think you're correct that the Chaos Seeds, I guess the Discord planted in Equestria's past, started to root and really do their thing in that episode. And yes, that was Sweetie Belle's magic losing control. Also, Rarity's was doing the same by shutting down on her or whatever. But yes, Sweetie's was like drawing things to her, and it was terrifying for her.
Your angles when she tried to pour it out of a cup, and then something happened to her cat, and she had to apologize and swear, "I'm not doing this on purpose."
Yes.
Come to think of it, though, I wonder if, in a way, this is a blessing in disguise for Sweetie, if she's the first use of her magic, and it sort of trained her brain into learning how to channel it.
I mean, I would have felt it was something like a traumatic experience, and it would set her back and cause her to not really be in any hurry to try to learn. But that's me.
Right. And she actually started using magic in the same season. Given the correlation of the two moments and how close they are together,
you got a point. Button's mom glanced out of the living area with a worried expression on her face. Rarity trotted down the steps and into view. She's really excited about tonight, Rarity offered as she plastered on a smile that was a little too wide across her face. Sure, Button's mom replied as pensive eyes tracked the young filly down the road. Okay, I think that's his sobbing. But I'm gonna just not even. Oh, you know what? Here, let's let Vic take a read at it.
Hey, what? Button sat against it.
Okay, back to me. Stop for a moment. There. Button sat against a tree and quietly sobbed to himself as he stared down at his green joy boy, tears falling from his eyes and dripping onto. My God, I'm reading badly. Dripping onto the wet screen below. Bzzz. Here, you know what?
Sniff, hen.
Button paused, pushed a few buttons on the center of the device, wiped the screen with a forearm, and began absent-mindedly pressing the side buttons once more as he continued to sob and cry. "This is all your fault, you know that?" Evelyn said as the two sat some distance away, watching Button Mash cry. As he continued to play his game. "Me?" Scootaloo protested. "I didn't rip the poor colt's heart out and stomp on it in front of him." "No, dear, you were the catalyst to that." "Yeah, but you didn't have to taste Sweetie Belle until she felt..." I think the "and" can come out of there, and until she felt mad about everything, Apple Bloom added. And Scootaloo paused as she pondered the secrets of the perfect comeback. "Yeah, but still," she shot back. "Nailed it. A+. Apple Bloom gave a disgusted sigh. "I can't believe he's still crying." "Yeah, you'd think he'd run out of tears at some point, the big crybaby," Scootaloo mused. "Scootaloo!" "What? I'm just saying, you need to go up and talk to him," Apple Bloom declared. "Me? Why me?" "'Cause it's ya. Oh, that does not flow well. "'Cause it's ya who got Sweetie Belle all riled up like that," Apple Bloom accused, pointing a forehoop at Scootaloo. It really doesn't flow well with that "ya" to me. But he's all weird and moist." "Okay. That don't matter right now," Apple Bloom insisted. "You need to fix this mess you caused." All right, Scootaloo replied. She began to trot over to Button Mash, stopping halfway, and looked back at Apple Bloom with a pleading look on her face. Apple Bloom shot Scootaloo a stern look and pointed a forehoof out at the colt. Scootaloo...
Behind you, in this bush, in the far distance.
Huh?
Like Apple Bloom will say, "I'll support you, way in this distance, in that bush, in the dark." No one can hear you.
Right. Scootaloo frowned and turned back. Button Mash! The two fillies looked on as Sweetie Belle shot down the path on a course directly towards the brown colt. "It's Sweetie Belle!" Scootaloo shouted. "Hide!" She quickly spotted a nearby bush and dove into it. Just shouted. So,
Okay. Whenever it's plot convenient.
Yeah, unless you're using, like, Skyrim's broken-ass stealth mode, that's just...
Or just out a box and hide in it.
Okay, or you could use Snake's way of doing it, but anyway, Apple Bloom trotted over to her orange Pegasus friend. "What is it with you and hiding anyhow?" "I figure I can get my cutie mark in hiding," Scootaloo explained. "I bet it'd be awesome, like a ninja or something." "Yeah, or it could be something stupid like a dumb bush," Apple Bloom countered. "Or a box." "I didn't think about that." "Okay, here, let me try this. Button Mash!" Sweetie Belle called again as she attempted to catch her breath. Sweetie Belle looked at Button Mash with a frightened, apologetic expression. "Your game, I didn't mean to..." Button looked up and made loud, phlegmy sniffing sound. Okay, I think either it should be sounds or a loud. "It's okay. I just got started. Anyhow..." "Hey, Button, Sweetie Belle," Button interrupted. "I'm really sorry I asked you to dinner. I understand why you said no." "You do?" Sweetie Belle replied. "Yeah. It's because I'm so weird and nobody wants to be around me." Sweetie Belle felt the pain in her chest worsen, as if some bounty had dug fish hooks into her heart and began to pull it with every word Button muttered. Well, damn. I just sit around and play video games all day and don't talk to any pony. Button continued. I don't know how to make friends. It's no surprise the first pony even talked to me wants nothing to do with... "Stop!" Sweetie Belle commanded. All right. Sweetie Belle quickly rubbed a forearm over her eyes, clearing the small pool of tears that began to form. "I'm sorry, okay? I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. You didn't deserve it." "Oh, okay," Button replied, the barest hints of a smile returning to his face. Does this mean we can be friends?" Sweetie Belle nodded with a small smile. "Of course," she squeaked out. Button beamed wide. "So," Sweetie Belle continued, "see you tonight?" Button gasped. "Really?" Sweetie Belle's smile widened. "Yep." Button Mash raised up on his back legs and began to excitedly raise his forelegs into the air. "Yay!" Oof! To her great surprise, Sweetie Belle soon found Brown forelegs wrapped around her. Boundaries, my dude, boundaries. Oh, thank you, Sweetie Belle. Thank you so much. Sweetie Belle smiled and returned the hug. Sure, Button. Well, looks like everything went and worked itself out. Apple mused. Scootaloo took this opportunity to emerge from her bush and be a complete dumbass. Give me a K. Apple Bloom looked at her friend quizzically. Give me an I. Give me an S. Her back turned to her friend. Sweetie Belle shot a glare at the tree in front of her. Give me another S. Scootaloo, quit it. Apple Bloom.
Can I buy a vowel?
Well, already got the I there, so what does she need to buy a vowel for? Apple Bloom demanded. Give me another I. And there's the next. I'm warning you, give me an N. Give me a G. What does that spell? K. Kissing. What does Sweetie Belle want to do with button mash? Kiss. Ow! Apple Bloom stuck it off me. Ouch. Why do you two always go for my wings? Because they're sensitive.
It tastes like chicken.
Okay, that works too. Button's mom waited pensively inside the house. Whoa, no transition at all, huh?
Jeez, there should have been a scene break right there.
Yeah, there isn't one. So we're just all of a sudden talking about Button's mom in the middle of another scene.
Now imagine that in the series where, like in mid-sentence, it suddenly cuts to her.
Yeah.
1 second later.
Ooh, the whiplash, man. Pacing back and forth inside the kitchen. All right, well, I'll cook Button's favorite dinner for him regardless. And, let me do this differently. All right, well, I'll cook Button's favorite dinner for him regardless. And I'll spend some time playing video games with him if she says no. Button's mom paused and stared at the front door to the family's house, quite afraid she'd spend the evening attempting to console her heartbroken son. Oh, oh, please, Celestia. Let her say yes. Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh. The door to the house flew open. Mom, I'm home. Button's mom's face lit up at the sight of her smiling son. Hello, Button. Did you talk to Sweetie Belle? She asked, though she was almost certain she already knew the answer. I did, Button replied excitedly. She said she could come over. Isn't that so cool? Button's mom smiled warmly. It sure is, sweetie. All right.
Belle.
Huh?
Sweetie Belle.
I'm really proud of you, Sweetie Belle. What?
There's scene break is right there.
Yes, finally. At least that's a good spot for one. They were missing one, is all I'm saying. What?
It's probably a time skip too.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you, Sweetie Belle. Rarity said I'm really proud of you, Sweetie Belle. Rarity said as the two stood inside the shopping area of Carousel Boutiques. Why are we pluralizing boutiques here? What is going on with this?
I'm no longer convinced it's a mistake. The author thought that the actual name of the shop.
Okay. You did the right thing. Yeah, I guess so, Sweetie Belle uttered. I'm kind of afraid about going to Button's house alone, though. Fear not, dear sister. Button's mother was so kind as to invite me as well. Sweetie Belle's face lit up. Really? Rarity nodded. Really? I shall accompany you as your backup pony on your play date. It's not a date, Sweetie shrieked. Rarity tittered. Of course not, dearie. Why is everybody teasing her like this? Hey, you won't run away at the first sign of trouble, will you? Sweetie Belle asked in a concerned tone. Of course not, sweetie. So is that like pet name or proper name? It should be capitalized if it's a proper name. Sister Solid.
I think this was a pet name. Calling her a sweetie instead of her name, sweetie.
Okay. Sweetie's sister solidarity all the way, Rarity declared, throwing a four-hoop into the air. Sweetie Belle beamed wide. Thanks, Rarity. Of course, dear. Rarity's eyes began to drift as something behind her sister caught her attention. I just wish that I could make friends with someone who wasn't such a That dress doesn't have enough ribbons, Rarity screamed as she rushed at the offending garment, tore it from the rack with a blue aura, and sprinted back into her work area, dress flying behind her. Sweetie Belle sighed heavily. Never mind. That sounds familiar. Well, anyway, interesting chapter. Few little technical errors in the writing. I am curious that Scootaloo was, to start with, so damn relentless, but then after being reprimanded and seeing the ill effects of it, then turns around and goes right back to doing this stupid teasing. You were going to say something?
Just a few of the technical errors is not the author's fault. If it's missing a space between any italic or bold, I've noticed it a bunch of times on some of my other stories. When you copy the entire thing from some other document and paste it here, it sometimes gets rid of space for some reason. I remember having to correct one of my chapters a total of 9 times because of that.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good to know. So for anybody who is utilizing this website to publish your own works, do keep that in mind. If you're going to copy and paste for it, while it will copy the formatting over and properly do the markup within the post, you're going to have to make sure that your formatted text, such as italicized, bold, and probably underlined as well, does not lose a space in that transition. So there's that. This has been an absolute joy to read. But again, I'm getting a little weirded out with Scootaloo's relentless teasing. It has certainly crossed the line from innocent teasing into outright bullying. And it doesn't make a lot of sense for Scootaloo herself, who, along with Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom, already suffers torment at the hands of an actual bully, at least at the point in time that this story seems to be taking place, in the forms of Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, that she would then think to... What?
I'm upset about Scootaloo too in this story. Actually, past this chapter 2, it continues to get worse, but it also has a greater motive too. I think it is just teasing at this point, but later on it's something else.
Okay, I mean, it's still so damn weirdly relentless, and that they saw the effect it had. Well, okay, I don't think Scootaloo properly associated it, but Apple Bloom seemed to figure it out. That it had a really bad effect on Button Mash and in general on Sweetie Belle, as it was getting her very upset. And she jumps out of a bush to start doing it again. So I'm baffled at that decision. It doesn't really come from a place of friendship or caring or anything like that. I applaud Sweetie Belle going to say yes. I guess she felt a hell of a lot of guilt, so she was sort of shamed into it. But, at the same time, it's like, got a good heart. And I appreciate that for the most part, the Crusaders have still written all 3 of them as having good hearts. It's just that Scootaloo was being oddly over the top with her teasing of Sweetie Belle. But
this exact situation has never appeared in the show, where one of them might have had romantic interest. We don't know how the others would have reacted. But Sweetie, her blowing up at her sister at one time because the dress she made was too fancy and stole the attention and thunder away from her show. So I remember when she yelled at her sister one time, but then in the same episode realized the error of her ways, especially thanks to Luna's guidance, and attempted to make amends to apologize. You see both of those aspects in this chapter, so that part is well in character.
You're wrong, though. We do see an episode in the actual show where we see one of them have sort of romantic interest and the other 2 being supportive. And that one happened to be Sweetie Belle, and that was the later season Hearts and Hooves episode where she mistakenly gets Big Mac's Hearts and Hooves Day card and gift meant for Sugar Belle. And the signature, all they could make out of it was the Belle part, and so she thought it was for her and that she had a secret admirer.
Then you're kind of right. But what I recall from that episode then was they spent quite a bit of time wondering who it might have been from.
Yeah.
And it set them on an investigation.
Yep.
Sweetie actually interviewed Snips at one point.
Yep.
That he might have been one, and under her breath, she was begging him to say no.
Yep. So the thing is that we see that the support was that they were trying to help her figure out who the secret admirer was, and nobody was making fun of her for it. And, and she was really, really upset and sad at the end when it seemed like there wasn't any pony at all, and she kind of, but I'm just saying that
there was though.
What?
Far ahead of this story, and even ahead of when the author probably saw the series. And even if the author did see that episode, you can still argue that they were a little more immature back at season 1.
Oh, absolutely.
This is kind of
you could definitely
because they were just
you could definitely argue that. You're right about that. So this has been interesting. I think this amused me. Continue. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to I'm going to cut this off, sign off on this video. I'm going to start up my next recording, but it's going to be a little different. The story is fun, but I think I'm going to add yet a second story to this that you don't know about, but I've read. And I haven't read the whole thing yet because it's almost 3 million words. But,
Wow.
yeah. But this is going to be a fun ride. I'll talk more about it starting in the next recording. So, signing off now.